Okay, I'm here with my buddy Rocky. Crash, that's passive training. In this video, I'm going to go over the loose leash walking method developed by Denise Fenzi from Fenzi Dog Academy. And so basically, what we're going to do is we're going to use this. This is to teach a dog to walk without lunging or pulling on the leash, not to walk in a heel. Walking in a heel takes a lot of practice. And when you're doing this, I usually prefer to do this with a martingale collar. If you size it properly, they can't slip it off. This is a front clip collar. We can use one of these, but you don't want to use one back here. Dogs have something called an opposition reflex. So if he pulls and I pull against him, he's programmed to pull against me. So if you've ever watched horses, when they work a horse out, what they do is they have it walking around in a circle. Now dogs walk faster than we do. And so if you imagine walking somewhere with somebody who walks tremendously slow. You walk at like 3 miles an hour, this person walks at like 0.1 mile an hour. And you're trying to get somewhere. You start getting frustrated because the person's not walking very well. Now dogs, and you can see he's got some energy right now to him. Dogs are great athletes. They need to burn a lot of extra energy. Now, if I'm walking with him, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. He takes a step, I take a step. Well, if we use a circle, and especially if we have a longer lead, when I take a big circle, I'm taking 10 steps to do a circle. If I have a 6 or 8 foot leash, he's taking like 50, 60, 70 steps. It's a way to equalize. Now when you do this, you always want to have the leash hanging down. I gotta be careful, my finger, just had surgery on it and the Band-Aid fell off. But you want to keep the leash hanging down this direction. So with the front clip harness, you sometimes have to manage it, move it this way or that way. I would want to pull it this way if the harness is coming up this way. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's why I like using a martingale, because it kind of swings around. So now what the walking does, or what the circling I should say does, is first of all, it equalizes the imbalance between us, our athletic ability, and theirs. Especially in the longer the lead, the more extra steps they're taking. It's also, the rhythmic method is also calming. If I see something I'm reacting to and I don't see it, and I circle back around and I see it again, that can help them kind of be a little calming. Also, I can make a circle bigger towards something or bigger away from something. Now, something a lot of people don't know when it comes to dogs, dogs burn more energy sniffing on a walk than they do from walking, from the locomotion of walking. But we're always in such a hurry, we don't want them to sniff anything. And so that's really frustrating for the dog, and that's another reason why they don't like walking us. And so it's like kind of that expression, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. That's kind of what dogs do. So what I'm going to do is, let's say that he wants to sniff one of these things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk him towards it, and the camera's going to be back, so you probably won't hear me as well. We're Santa Monica High, so this is the biggest field we have. When you're doing this, you want to find a big park. So if there's your dog walking towards you, you can walk away. And you want to find a park where, ideally at first, there's not a lot of distractions, but eventually you want to do it with distractions. Now, most dog training, you want to do, excuse me, buddy, you want to do for short periods of time. This one, we'd like each practice session to be about an hour. Now, if you don't have an hour, you can exercise your dog ahead of time to set him up for success. And sometimes the dog's full of energy. I might do 3, 4, 5, or 6 circles in a row. Now, if he wants to sniff something, he can sniff it. He can't pull me to get to it. Anytime he puts tension on a leash, I'm going to do a circle. Now, if you get dizzy during your circle, start looking up and make your circle bigger. All right, so I'm going to flip it this way because I want to use my right hand only because of my injury. And when you're doing this, a lot of times what we have to do is we have to kind of earn credit. Because what we've been teaching him for a year or longer is, I'm never going to let you do what you want to do. So instead of asking, he's just going to try to take it. So for the next month, I'd like you to practice this every day for a month. And each time, and when you're doing this, what we're doing is we're teaching him, I am going to let you sniff everything, but you can't pull me towards it. So let's say he wants to get to that palm tree right there, and he pulls. I'm going to do a circle, and then I'm going to circle him back to it. Now, a lot of times they're like, I don't care anymore. Now I'm on to the next thing. That's fine. But we're going to prove to him that I am listening to you. You just can't get there by pulling. Now, I'm going to have you stay right there, and I'm going to kind of walk, and we'll see how he does. You see that? There's a dog across the street, and he's a little dog reacting. So you see how his mouth is open? We'll do a little clinic on that. See his ears, and his tail is hanging low. That dog is mellow, and it's across, what is this, Pico? It's across Pico, and he's nice and relaxed, and that dog's doing a great job, so he doesn't perceive it as a threat. That's why he's not barking and lunging. If that dog, and see, that guy's doing a great job of letting his dog sniff. And the dog's going to pee a little bit. Now, see how his mouth is open? If he suddenly closed his mouth and lowered his head and stared, that's a big indicator that I'm about ready to, I'm on my path of getting ready to explode. So if that's the case, you want to get him away from it, lure him away. Prefer not to pull him, but if it's going to be a fight, we'll pull him away. All right, that's a little sidebar for this. So now I'm going to walk over here. Semi-pull pass. No tension, so I'm good with it. Come on, buddy. Rock. Rocky. Yeah, I know your people are there. And I notice I'm not pulling him. I don't want to pull him so much. I would like him to lead where he wants to go. Rock. I'm going to use a tree as a board. Rock. You're not going to cooperate, huh? So no, because my people are back there. I just want to be able to show one circle, buddy. Other hand, there we go. So now I'm going to do another circle. This is a great way to burn energy. Now, he's being strong, and I'm not using the right hand. I forgot I should go over some leash management. So if I'm going to use this hand, again, trying to get it to fall the right way, I'm going to keep this hand against my sternum. I would like to have a leash that's like at least 8 to 10 feet long. Now, whenever you can, and get it without these bells and whistles. And don't put knots in it. And don't put this stuff on it. This is just, you're going to give the leash and release it. So what I'm going to do is hold it here, and I'm keeping this hand. I'm never gripping with this hand. I'm just using this to manage the leash. So the more that this hand moves away from your body, the less control you're going to have. But here, I'm going to have a lot more control. And again, I would normally be doing it this way, but I had an injured hand. So I brought him right back to what he wanted to sniff at. So I'm saying you can sniff, you just can't pull and lunge me to get it. Anytime you put pressure on the leash, I'm doing a circle. Now at first, the first week you're gonna get frustrated because you wanna go to where you wanna go, and he's not cooperating with you. But after a while, you'll start noticing it goes in the circle easier. And instead of pulling straight back, we're pulling to the side. Normally how dogs walk is they don't take straight lines, they take curved approaches. So if he's full of beans, you might start by doing 8 or 10 circles in a row. So if it's 10 steps for you and 80 steps for him and you do 10 circles, that's 8 or whatever, math is not my strong suit. But that's just a whole lot of energy that you burned out. And then what you want to do is you want to prove to him that I am listening to you. That's why we want to go to parks and trees and stuff like this are shrubberies. There's going to be a lot more stuff to sniff. On the street, there's nothing to sniff. So when you're doing this, you do not want to walk him on a regular street. You don't have enough room to circle, and you're going to think, I want to get to Main Street or to Sunset or wherever it is, and then you're thinking the destination. When he doesn't cooperate, you get frustrated with him. So instead, you go to a big park and just say, I'm going to be here for an hour. We're not going anywhere. And we're proving to the dog that I am listening to you. Now I'm going to let you sniff. Because most of the time we're not letting. I think the guardians here do a good job of actually letting him sniff, but we're going to prove to him over and over. Now the first week that I do, I want to avoid all triggers. Anything he's going to react to, there's a dog walks by, you turn around and walk the other way, and you can make your circle bigger walking away from something or towards something. Never circle him towards the thing. So if he's reacting to you, I'm going to lead him away and make a big circle. So when he comes back around, I've added, now there's 10 more paces between him and whatever he's reacting to. He's still reactive, I might make the circle even bigger, going away. So you can manage it, and after a while he realizes, and you'll feel a little self-conscious, doing these circles. That's why if you do it at a park, you feel better. Eventually, when you're on a sidewalk, you will do circles, but it'll be far, far less, because he understands that my humans aren't going to pull me around. They're going to let me do the stuff as long as I don't pull on the leash. Now, the reason this method works so well is because it's super duper easy. And all it takes is a lot of practice from you guys. It's not hard, but it takes practice. Now, eventually the dog was going to kind of go in front of you. We call it skiing, going back and forth, zoning. That's okay. We don't care where he is as long as he doesn't have tension on the leash. All right, so basically, and I could see the guardian had mentioned when you guys were over there, he didn't want to walk away from you. So when you guys are one of you by yourself, you're not going to have that problem. You should be able to move over here so I don't squint so much. So you won't have that problem. At first, you probably will a little bit, but eventually he'll just kind of start doing what you want him to do. But again, get a martingale collar so you don't have to do as much leash management for this. I'm trying to think what else we want to do, what else I want to talk about on this one. Yeah, so practice the first week. avoid all triggers. Somebody comes, a dog comes by or a jogger or anything that he doesn't like, circle him away and keep increasing the distance until he's kind of whatever, aloof to it. Second week, when you see a trigger, you want to kind of like follow it, but at a great distance. And you don't want to be reacting, but when you get close enough and he starts kind of getting wide-eyed or start potential leash, you circle, and that allows the other person to walk, or the target to walk further away, and you can regulate that distance. When you get to the third week, you want to actually start following it. So the second week, I might see a trigger and walk towards it a little bit, circle, and I'm kind of gauging how close to various triggers I can get. It might be for a skateboard, you could be 15 feet away. For a dog, it's gonna be 25 feet. For a jogger, it's gonna be 17, whatever. So take note of what the distances are. Eventually, you can get it closer and closer. So the first week, avoid triggers. Second week, find a trigger, walk towards it a little bit, but then let it walk away. And it'll happen pretty quickly, they'll walk away. Third week, start following the triggers for a little bit, but if it's reactive at all, you're pushed too close. So the whole point is we want him to learn to walk near these things without lunging towards it, and no barking or snarling or any of that stuff for sure. By the fourth week, you want to go to a park where there's a lot of people or a lot of dogs or whatever it is, and practice getting closer and closer, but don't be greedy, go at his pace. Anytime he starts getting in trouble, just lead him out of that with a circle. Denise has a video for this. I think it's 50 or $100 if you want to watch it. Denise, FENZI Dog Academy is her deal. And message me if you want to find the full video. I think I've summed up most of it. Like I said, it's super duper easy. And even if he's dog reactive, it teaches him that I'm never going to be able to get to that thing. Oh, one last thing, staring. So if he's staring with his mouth open, that's okay. If he goes like this, 1, 2, 3 is the maximum I would let him. Anything you know he's gonna react to, don't let him stare at for more than 3 times. Give him something to do, get him moving. If he's stationary, he can really focus on it. If you get him doing that rhythm, especially when somebody's reactive, as the person's walking by, the rhythm, he only sees them for a couple seconds, they disappear, sees them, and then eventually they disappear completely. So that rhythmic is really helpful for him. Just don't let him stare, and especially at things that he's never allowed to get to. So like a squirrel, I'm not gonna let him stare. Maybe a person or a dog walking by. If he walks by and the dog walks by and he's nice and calm and he's not lunging, that's beautiful. We want him not to lunge on the leash. That's the whole point of this. But don't let him stop and stare, especially with a tense body language or the closed mouth. We're going from an open mouth to a closed mouth and staring intently. And if you see his hackles going up or his tail going up, start circling away from whatever it is. All right, well, this is my buddy Rocky. Yes, we didn't cooperate very well, but I think we got all the ins and outs of the loose leash walking method. These are tips you can use if you have a dog that likes to pull or lunge on the leash.